Welcome to the Sports Card Lessons Podcast. I'm your host, Big Ken. Whether you're watching on YouTube or listening on a streaming service, please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. You'll be notified whenever I drop any new content. Welcome. Thanks for being here. Like going old school here with the old microphone and, no virtual background. We're pulling this right out of the hotel room tonight. The day one of the National. I just got back to my hotel room. It's 2 minutes to midnight right now, as we're recording. So this won't even finish until tomorrow. And I'm happy to have a hotel room here at least, or at least in this hotel. When I arrived yesterday and I was checking in, there were people who had booked this hotel through the National, and the manager was telling them that if you didn't book directly through the hotel, if you booked through the National or a third party, the chances are you don't have a room here because they've overbooked the hotel by over 30 rooms. So I don't know what happened with that. I know I booked. I was lucky enough to book directly through the hotel. I booked very early and was happy to be able to cut to the front of the line and check in and know that I had a room. Because I know people were standing there in the lobby looking on to see, where they could get a hotel somewhere else. And I know there's nothing close by. So anywhere they're going now, they'd be traveling. But it's late. Hey, I still have energy to get out a short but hopefully entertaining episode for you. So day one, the start of the show was a little rough. I got over to the IX Center at 2:30. Followed the paperwork, what I'm supposed to do, the directions. Get over there at 2:30, and the parking lot is really a good distance from the entrance. It's like an old airfield, I think, and you're just parked out on a runway somewhere. But it's definitely a good distance. And normally I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind the walk, but when I arrived today, it was starting to rain. And I was happy it held off until I got inside the building. But you know what? I was thinking as I'm walking, man, if it starts downpouring and I get soaked, this could really ruin day one. But it didn't. I was lucky to get in, and I don't know if any other people did get caught out if it did ever really start raining a lot, but it could have been worse. But I got inside, followed the signs to the VIP credential pickup, and proceeded to wait over an hour and a half in a line, very slow moving line, in a room with a sea of people. I mean, you go downstairs into this very long room, and it reminded me of if you've ever been in Disney World, where you're going all the way down one end, and then you got to come back, and you're just the same people you saw. There's like 6 rows, and you're just going up and down in this room, waiting to get to the end to get your badge. They make such a big deal about it, right? And they give you this whole bag of crap. I mean, the only thing worth anything in this bag they give you is your pass to get in to the show, your badge to get in, and your parking pass. Everything else is, when you go through and you finally get it, you end up in this Ludix lounge, right? And then there's a escalator that takes you up to the show. And when I walked in there, I was like, what is going on? Like, the people just dumped their bags out just to get what they needed. There were books and papers and everything all over the place because nobody just wanted that stuff. I mean, bag full of crap. So the show itself, right? The layout, much better than Chicago, noticeably smaller. Like, if you were at Chicago last year, and you know what? Atlantic City, if you were at Atlantic City, was just one big, long, huge room. This is 2 rooms, easy to navigate. 2 rooms that are really easy to navigate. There's a lot more space. I know I talked about it in an episode that there's these places, they don't have any place to sit down. There's a lot more space. There's tables, there's chairs to be sitting down. There's a lot of opportunities for food and drink, alcoholic drinks too. A lot of beer and wine and mixed drinks and different types of food there. Everything is like really spread out. Um, I know it's the first day and traffic is always light, but I was really happy. And when I say spread out, I was really happy to see space in the aisles between the booths. Noticeably, that they move the booths further apart, that there's a lot of space, to move in between the last two shows. Um, Chicago, Atlantic City, though there was hardly any room in those aisles to move. So I know as these days progress and it starts to get busier and busier, we're going to be happy to have that room between those booths, because there's nothing worse than showing up to a show and there's no space to walk, even just to walk in an aisle. Never mind get up to a table, but just even walk down an aisle. Um, and I know it's going to get packed. I know, like I said, each day it just ramps up to more and more and more. And I'm sure by Saturday it'll be insane. But at least there's extra space. There's going to be extra room to fit people in there. A couple observations. A lot of empty cases on tables. A lot of empty cases on tables and signs saying, "Hey, we're buying anything, buying everything." Um, Nobody's listing prices. Sometimes you go to these shows, people say, "Oh, we're buying it 80% or 85%." Everybody just says we're buying. Um, and people not using their entire booths, which is so annoying to me. I mean, if you've been to the National, there's not 1 inch of unused space ever. And if there's enough to put a half a showcase, it's been sold off to somebody there. And now, I mean, you see people are spreading their showcases out, and where usually you'd see like showcases hanging off the end of a table. There's, you know, a foot of room from the showcase to the end of the table, and there's a foot between this one and that. So it just noticeably there's a lot of more weight, not on every table. Like I'm not saying on every table, but I'm just observing. You're walking up and you're like, oh my God, like look at all this extra room. If you pushed all those together, there'd be, a whole extra table there. And then some people I talked to that I know said, "Hey, look, we pulled a couple tables out. They have, like a double booth, and they've had more tables every year. This year they're like, you know what, we just pulled some tables out because we have less people in here now. We just have what we're allowed to." Um, and again, right, it's day one. That could be different tomorrow. There could be more cases. There could be more people showing up. It's just what I noticed today on day one. And you know what? People were talking. That was the buzz of the room, is how many people could be behind the booth if you have one booth or two booths or this or that. Some places, some booths, they had like 10, 12 people. Other people had two or four people. Um, and I asked a couple of them. I hear people talking. I asked a couple of dealers, has anybody been around and checking badges? Like it was supposed to be this whole big thing. If you get caught, we're gonna, force you to leave, type of thing. And nothing. Everybody said no. It's been quiet. No one's been around. No one's, asking anything. They really left everybody alone. So I mean, the dealers were happy about that, being left alone. But I think, you know some people were expecting to be, more of a problem there. And so far not. Maybe again, tomorrow could be a different day, who knows, or later in the week. Um, but so far, no. Uh, you listen in, people selling their cards to the dealers. I'm listening to offers coming through, and they've been pretty low, 75%, 80%. Um, Usually at these shows, you see people making the deal where they're like, okay, and they're taking the money and giving the cards. Tons of people just saying, nah, I'm all set. I'm good. I'm all set. No, it's just day one. I'm going to take them somewhere else. hopefully somebody's paying better than this type of attitude. So I think it was going both ways at this point, where the dealers were trying to get the cards for cheap, and the people with the cars that are walking around are like, "No, I'm all set. I'll go somewhere else with them." I felt most dealers were high on their prices, way above the custom. I say the custom 10 to 15%, because I think, most people, if they say, "Look, I'm right around comps," they're usually like 10% above comps, right? Because there's always that little room for negotiation. But I felt dealers were much higher on that, and just talking to other people too, everybody kind of felt the same thing. And again, it's day one, right? If your prices are high and people aren't buying, then um, you're going to have to do something with the prices if you want to sell, to pay for what you're doing there. So, I understand it's day one, and you're hoping you can hold off and hold out, and people are going to come, um, you know, maybe come up higher over comps to buy the cards. And on the other hand too, with the dealers being overpriced, they really weren't. I didn't feel they were trying to make great deals. And again, talk to people, they said no, they really weren't. It's day one. They're trying to get top dollar for their stuff, and understandable. I mean, I've been there too, but it's probably a great day, if you could be at comps or a little bit over comps. And that's probably why I did so well last year on the first day, because I was, 10% over, and I was willing to move my cards, and I moved a ton of cards on day one last year. But I didn't see a lot of deals going down today. Uh, and I can honestly say, right, I'm talking all this and I'm watching this stuff happen. I never negotiated with anybody. I had zero pickups today. Today is just a day for me to walk the floor, look for cards, check prices, make a plan, get the lay of the land out there, for the rest of the week. I'm here all week, and there's really nothing out there. And even cards that I thought, I'm like, oh wow, I seen them at the beginning, and I was really like making a note on a card. All of a sudden I started seeing the same card over and over. I'm like, oh my God, this is unbelievable that there's that many of these cards out there. Um, Two things: there's a lot more in this room than in years past. Is a ton of pop culture cards. Almost every booth I went to, not the non-vintage, but any of the modern sports, all had at least one case of pop culture, and in either one case or inside the case, women's basketball cards. Tons and tons of Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese cards. Tons of those cards. I mean, I saw Caitlin Clark cards that I didn't even know existed today, and I thought I'd seen every card, and I was just amazed about how many are in there, and the prices on both of them. Asking now, I've been pricing like crazy. I've been pricing my stuff for a week, and I finished this morning before this show started, and the last thing I did was the WNBA cards. So I know I was pricing these Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese cards this morning, and I would have to say the prices that I'm looking at of the same cars, and I know what the comps are, they're 30 to 40% over what the current comps are on those cards. So it's just amazing. It's amazing that, they're the pricing for those two players, right? That the demand is so high that they're driving the price up on those cards. And it's something I noticed, right? Because I'm looking at me, other people may look in and be like, who cares, right? But if you're in that market, and you're buying and selling or PCing these cards, it's turning into a pretty big market right now. Um, and who knows? I don't even know what it's going to look like tomorrow at SoCo. I'm sure people are going to have them over there too. I don't even know. I may have to reprice my cards. I mean, I was happy when I was repricing them this morning to see that the prices have gone up, but they certainly weren't at the price tags I saw today. That's for sure. Um, as planned, I made a plan to meet up with my guy Jonathan at Homer Sports Cards. So we met up today at the end of the show. We went over to Morton's Steakhouse for dinner, a nice traditional steak dinner to kick off the national. Um, we weren't the only hobby enthusiasts there. There was an eBay party going on over there. So not only did we have a great dinner, but we ran into some friends too as well, and we got to chatting with a bunch of people over there. So it was kind of a great night. It was a great start to the national. After that, we headed over to the after show at the Aviator. You know, I talked about two after shows going on. The SoCo starts tomorrow. It's Thursday, Friday, Saturday. The Aviator started tonight. Is Wednesday to Saturday. So we had planned to go over to that one tonight because I think that was the only thing that was going on tonight. So we got over there about 9:45, and there was just this mob of people in the parking lot, a mob of people in the parking lot standing there with their backpacks and their Zion cases and their carry-on luggage bag full of cards. And I was like, uh-oh, this does not look good. What is going on? And as we pull in, you could see like this Aviator place was massive. It was huge. And you could see like right inside that the room was just packed with people. So as we're pulling in and we're looking in and we're like, oh, wow, this place is packed. I mean, there's a lot of people here. And then we get around the back of the building where the entrance is, and the whole parking lot's full with people. So we pulled up and we asked somebody, yo, what's going on? And they said, oh, the police came and shut it down. There was too many people inside. So the people inside, they can stay, but everybody else has to leave. And when I tell you, this place was big. It wasn't small. And so there was a lot of people there. A lot of people in there. So good on them, right? Great way to kick off the national with the after party being shut down because so many people showed up. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that, right? Uh, that was it. That was it. That was the end of my day one. I'll be back there again tomorrow, and I'll be set up at the SoCo Expo tomorrow night. And I may even try doing YouTube Live tomorrow from the show. So if you're not subscribed, go over to the Sports Card Lessons YouTube channel, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Uh, and if I go live, you will be notified. Now, not so much live, like I'll chat with you, but just so you guys can get an idea of the show, see what's going on at the show at my table. I'm hoping I can figure it out. I'm hoping they have decent internet there. It's my plan to do this. It's not 100%, but I'm going to get over there early. I'm going to bring my equipment and hopefully we'll make it work. And if I don't make it work tomorrow night, at least I'll know what I need to get or what I'll need to do to make it work the following night. So that's it. It's all I got for you. I may try to come back tomorrow night for a day two of the national. Who knows? Who knows? I'm not promising anything, but stay tuned, right? Stay tuned. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. If you like what you hear, please definitely subscribe. And most importantly, tell a friend and spread the word. Till next time, take care of yourselves and everyone around you.